What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Behind the Music Biz, a Rowdy podcast. It's your boy Matt Burrill with you today. And today we've got a very special guest. You want to learn about artist management, the road to that. We got a guy here who's been doing it for a minute now. And he works over at Red Light Management, represents Brantley Gilbert, our good buddy Austin G. Y'all please welcome our boy Aaron Keiser.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Doing. It's great to have you here, brother.
Yeah.
Like you were saying before this, we rescheduled. You're banged up a little bit. You battled through duck season.
We're good.
And now we're on the mend, and we're still grinding and working.
Kicking ass, taking names, right?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Love it, dude. Well, again, thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming.
I think. Dude. Yeah. Absolutely, man. And you're somebody I connected with. I want to say I've seen you like at events over the years, and we've talked a bunch. Been a long time Brantley fan, and been in the mute and working with Muscadine and working with Trey and stuff over the years. We've crossed paths, but you're somebody that I think, like, your story, from what I do know of how you got into this, is a wild ride, because you didn't quite go like the music business, like Belmont, like that round. You come from the school of hard knocks, and then just right place, right time, loving music and finding guys to work with. So I guess back us up. Where are you from? How long have you been in town?
Oh, shoot. I've been in town, it's been 13 years now. And
wow.
I think 14 will be August. But yeah, dude, I was in Washington State, born and raised there. And one of my buddies was doing all the pop punk bands coming out of the West Coast and that sort of stuff. And had a t-shirt company out there. And then we decided to move it here to Nashville because we were doing all the fraternities, like 300 colleges across the United States. And so like we moved it here, built out an East Nashville warehouse. And then on the backside of that, we built out the music studio so he could still do music production and do more of the country stuff. So I was like, oh, that was cool. Like I love that side, learned a lot from him. And yeah, dude, talk about right place, right time. Like in short, I just, I left that business, kind of just was hanging out, didn't know what my direction was. I met Brantley's personal assistant at the time, and he's like, hey dude, like, do you know anybody in the music business? I said, I don't, but like, I'll start tomorrow. Like I know business. I just don't know the music business. So, teach me for 30 days. And then after that we could, if you could put me on salary, we'll figure it out. Like, I'm a fast learner. If it doesn't work out, no harm, no foul. I'll go start another business. Like, not a big deal. Like I was 22 or 23 at the time.
Wow.
So prepubescent boy, trying to figure it out, what the next moves were. But yeah, I just figured it out. And so it was, again, right place, right time. I met Steve, who was Brantley's personal assistant. And dude, I just showed up at his door at 8 a.m. the next day, and I was like, we're doing this. Like, this is it. Like, I'm not trying to start another business right now. I just want to do this.
Yeah.
And so I did that for like 8 months. And I was like, hey dude, like my bank account's like this big now. Like my savings is dwindling after 8 months. Like, you want to do the salary thing or what? And so he finally put me on salary. And I went from like, Brantley had a breakup. He was dating another country artist at the time, Jana. We can talk about it. It's public knowledge.
Yeah.
And so I was like taking out their trash, like just trying to inundate myself in that world as much as, humanly possible. Just be around, just be seen, show work ethic. Just
be the gopher guy. They need something done.
Yeah.
If I don't know how to do it, I'll figure out how to do it. It'll
just
get
like
done.
you, like you're that guy, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I talk about this all the time now. It's the TNTs. It takes no talent to like show up. It takes no talent to be disciplined. It takes no talent to like do all these things, but it's like all these medial tasks that have to be done in order for like the train to keep on moving. Yeah. And so I was always doing the TNTs to like get to where I'm at now. And so, I was taking out the trash. I was doing all those things. And then Brantley, rest in peace, Ben Vaughn, had a co-venture with Warner Chappell, the Write or Die, which was their publishing arm. Brian Davis was on that.
Oh, love Brian.
BD's the man.
He's
such a good dude.
BD,
I love Brian. He's got one speed, dude, and it is go at all times.
Yeah.
I love that guy. I love his family, Jen. His whole family's great. So they were like, hey, why don't you go on the road? You can, and I was like, well, fuck yeah, I might as well, right? Like, I can learn the road for sure. Like, that sounds fun. Well, I went out for like a year or so with Brian and learned the entire road, you know, how merch works, how, you know, tour managing, advancing, you know, collecting settlements, all of those things that, you know, a college, you know, going to Belmont can teach you, but it's so different. And like, I won't say it's so different, but it is much different, like trial by fire and like learning to deal with club managers and club owners or anything
at the
like
level
that.
at that level, sometimes you're settling and there's a 44 sitting on the desk when you're settling up.
Dude, and that's happened to Brantley.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this guy, Brantley tells the story all the time. I don't remember what club it was, but he, you know, he goes in to settle and it's just Brantley at the time. I think he was like opening for Corey Smith or something. And the guy puts this, you know, gun on the table and Brantley puts his gun on the table. He's like, yeah, we don't have any money for you today. And he's like, okay, well, I'm coming back for my money. And he goes, how about this? I'll bring my own door counters. I'll bring my own people, you know, and we'll figure out what's fair next time. You got me this one, but I'm gonna get you on the next one. So Brantley has those moments, but yeah, just learning the road in all capacities.
Yeah. And
how the office affects the road, right? Being a manager affects the road, because being a manager, you know, I don't want to put levels to it, but it's, you know, this affects the tour manager, which the tour manager affects the crew, affects the band, affects the show, affects, you know, everything. Yeah. And I think some people don't think about that wholeheartedly when they're making a decision on, you know, hey, this show is routed. It's 600 miles though. Well, shit, like 600 miles, like that's an overdrive for a tour bus. Like, so like, you know, learning the road and how the office, you know, I call it the office management, affects the road and is going to affect everybody, you know, for that long weekend, you know, that they're out. And so, yeah, I was out with BD and just learned that. And then just, again, right place, right time in the middle of Brantley's breakup. Rich Egan at the time at Hard 8 Management was managing Brantley. And Brantley was like, hey, I need you to come here. I need your help, whatever. And so we were at this office. They were upstairs on this rooftop dealing with all the shenanigans around, you know, this breakup and how it's going to look and all the things. And, you know, Rich was like, hey, I need an iPhone charger. And I just heard it. And I was like, he wasn't asking anybody, you know, he's like, oh shit, my phone's about to die. And I was like, well, fuck, dude, I'll run downstairs. Like, somebody's got to have a cell phone charger here. I'll figure it out for this guy. Hopefully that'll show, you know, initiative or like I give a shit, right? Yeah. Or like, again, it's the TNTs, right? Takes no talent to go find an iPhone charger for this dude that's running Brantley's business. Yeah. Right. And so I ran downstairs, hit the front desk, and the dude's like, yeah, dude, I got a cell phone charger. So I just ran it upstairs, and Rich looked at me like, dude, who are you? Where'd you come from? Like, how'd you find this? How'd you even know I needed a cell phone charger? I just didn't say anything. I said, here you go. And like that catapulted me, you know, into becoming Brantley's day-to-day manager. At Hard 8 with Rich, and then, you know, that kind of just fizzled out. You know, we left. You know, that decision was made, and everybody left Hard 8, and we went over to Morris Higham with Clint after that, and did a solid 5 years with Clint. Clint's that whole team is great. Everybody's great over there, and then recently, just in February, we partnered with Corin over at Red Light, and it's been killer ever since.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought, like, you'd been kind of like music adjacent, because it's like when you're in that college circuit, like running like a merch company, cranking out the Greek shirts and stuff. Like, there's shows and whatever, and like you have your buddies, and like you see the scene back in like Seattle, the West Coast thing, which is very different from the Nashville thing, but that road to get to where you're at. And I think the TNT thing really resonates with me.
Yeah.
Because
you're that guy.
Yeah. You figure out a way. You just pay attention enough to know that somebody needs something, and you go and get that done.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of kids, like, even in your Belmont situations, like, right? I mean, it's a gift to be at Belmont for sure. Like, whether you've worked there or not, but like, even post college or in college, all those years, like, I didn't go to college. I went to college for like a year and a half, and I was done. Like, we were focused on doing other things, bigger and better things. And like, I was like, okay, like, work ethic is going to take me. The TNTs are going to take me there. Right. And so like, I think there's a lot of kids now that like the TNTs, man, pay attention to that. Right. I mean, like, we're the same pedigree in that. Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of kids forget that it takes no talent to, have a conversation with you or pick up the phone. Hey man, like Ray's Rowdy's kicking ass, taking names. Like, how do I get involved?
Yeah.
Or, if there's another tour happening or, another manager needs help, like, dude, it takes no talent to jump in and help.
Yeah.
Are you going to get rewarded for it right away? No. But dude, I've been here 13 years. I'm rewarded now, right?
Yeah.
I've been with Brantley, 9 out of the 13, 10 out of 13. So like, it's been good. The return is now coming now in the last, 5, 6, 7 years. But like, that was my college degree.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's paying dividends.
Yeah, dude. So. What's it like working with an artist that's as hands-on as a Brantley? Because Brantley's somebody that, like, knowing his root of like starting out playing shows in like Duluth, Georgia or Athens, and then just growing the circle and the live show being such a big part of his business, from learning with guys, coming up with guys like Corey and Colt Ford and people of that level, to where like the show is such a huge part of it, and touring is so heavy, where even to this day, like he tours more than a lot of artists, and he's been like the CEO of the business. Like a lot of artists are very hands off.
Yep.
He seems to be like, he knows the brand. He's so connected with the fans. What's it like working hand in hand with a guy like that?
In short, it's the best thing you could ever ask for. Truly. Like, I mean, you go to a Brantley show back in the day, right? And like fucking sold out shows, having a blast. You go to a show now, dude, the production is all time. Like it is
the pyro's insane.
Dude, and I think a lot of people forget how awesome that show is. Like, when we went and toured with Nickelback and all that sort of stuff, like, thank you, Chief and Simon, for having us, by the way.
Awesome tour, by the way. I got to see a couple shows of that. Incredible.
Dude, unreal. And like that whole camp and that whole team, like, dude, everybody was all time. Like from top to bottom, the bus driver, dude, like everybody was amazing on that tour, like truthfully. But like watching Brantley now morph into like what it was, as a club level, and it was before my time, but I'm lucky enough to see pictures and videos and hear all the stories, so it almost feels like I was there in a sense. But to where he's at now, and like being able to go play the rock stuff and like that sort of stuff, and like the show, like it is a full on fucking rock show.
Yeah.
Like we like Hardy, like dude, his show is a rock show.
Yes, yeah.
Like I mean, heavier than Brantley's show, but like that crossover of country to rock. Like I'm not trying to take anything from anybody, but like Brantley's kind of like the OG,
yeah, man,
of that.
Yeah,
and like the whole rap thing with like the dirt road thing. Yeah, Jason cut it, but like Brantley and Colt started that movement.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people give Brantley the credit. And I'm not just trying to toot Brantley's horn because I'm his manager and I'm probably a lot biased about it.
Yeah.
But like,
no, but it's the truth.
But yeah, he's the OG. Like he started the rap rock path to everybody else that's now exploding, your Jellies and your Hardys and that sort of stuff, which is fun to see. I mean, we love it and we're boys with all of them. So it's like, dude, tip of the cap to you guys. Like you're also crushing it too. It's like, and we never like hold any grudges to anybody. It's like, dude, like we want you to win just as much as you want us to win. Like we're all in the family, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of people separate that too, as far as like, oh, you're an enemy or you're a competition, which you are in a sense, right? We're all in competition with each other for sure, but like also we all want you to win too, like at the same time.
Yeah, if country music or rock music's winning, all the artists in that genre are winning. And right now, country and rock are winning together.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the coolest part, dude. Like, where you can see BG on a Nickelback show with a guy like Josh Ross opening, who's another guy that's coming up. Yeah, like it's cool to, I'm sure it's got to be cool to where Brantley is one of the OGs now. And you're getting to be a part of now bringing along other acts. And like you have Austin on your roster. Yeah. And like you're getting to, and he's getting to kind of craft like now Austin Snell on tour, like guys like that are looking up, and you're getting to be a part of that team that's helping bring along these other acts on tour or just in general, like you work with an Austin G and people like that. How'd you find, I know it goes back to the 641 days, dude, which I remember that because they played, Austin and Brooks played my first writer's round that I ever hosted.
Right.
back in 2019.
Was that Demonbreun?
That was at Live Oak.
Yeah.
That was at Live Oak on the Demonbreun Hill.
Yep, I remember. Yeah, holy cow, that was forever ago.
Yeah, how'd you find those guys, and what's kind of the backstory? Because I know you're working with Austin still, and he just put out a great project. And
dude, Austin's great. That whole camp's great. Like Zeb, I know you know Zeb and all those dude. They're wonderful to work with. We love having Austin on tour now with Brantley, and obviously Austin as a songwriter, having heavy metal and that sort of stuff. But as far as like finding Austin G, I don't know if we could talk about this on air, but I was literally on the toilet, like scrolling Instagram at the old, like, I was still, where were we? I was still at Rich's. I was like the tail end of Hard 8 office. And I just saw 641 like playing crazy.
Yeah.
Like a song pop up. And I was like, what is this? This is like pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like for a couple college kids, like this is pretty good. Like, what is this? And so I DM'd the 641 account, and then in their bio or something like that, it showed, or they had tagged each other, like Brooks Hoffman and Austin G. And I was like, yo, like, when's your next show? I'm coming. And they're like, oh, it's on Tuesday. It was like a Tuesday show. It was a philanthropy show in Kentucky. And I was like, sweet. Like, put me on. Like, I'm coming to the show. And so I just grabbed a car and I went up to the show Tuesday. It was like 3 days after I had DM'd them, and I just cleared my calendar and I just went up and saw the show. And they had this place packed. There was like 300, 400 people in this room, and they're all college kids. The set was unreal. I mean, they knew the crowd. Like,
high energy.
Dude, high energy.
Such
so
high
fun.
energy, those old 641 shows.
Yeah, it was so fun, dude. And like it was all like relevant music at the time. Like, they were playing Lit, and they were playing Blink, and they were playing all this stuff too that got the, like, they were depositing these songs so they could withdraw with their own original songs.
Yeah.
Like it was great. And even when they were withdrawing those originals, dude, the whole crowd knew those songs. I was like, dude, you guys own Murray, Kentucky right now. This is sick. Like, good for you. And dude, so that was like the start of it. We went to dinner. They hit me Monday and after, and they're like, hey, we want to do this. Like, you're it. And so, yeah, dude, we did 641 for a while, and it just kind of fizzled out. We weren't like really gaining a whole, dude, breaking an act right now is extremely tough.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah.
And Austin was like, hey, like, what do you think about me doing a solo project? I was like, bro, like, I would kill for you to do a solo project. Let's go to the studio. And so that was the inception of just Austin G doing his thing. It wasn't like a reborn 641 thing. It was like Austin finding his sound, finding his, like, I mean, his stage presence is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, you saw it the other night, dude. It's so good. Yeah. He's just, and his work ethic, dude, is just,
he grinds.
Bro, and he doesn't care what it takes to get there. Like, talk about TNTs. I mean, the kid is obviously gifted and talented, but like, he does all the TNTs to like get to the next level of like being somebody. And now we're like, we just got, festival offers opening up for Dustin Lynch and opening up for Thomas Rhett and Shaylin. There's a tour run. We just got like a whole run with Lakeview. Those
That's
guys
gonna
are
be
sick.
Perfect. Those are my boys right there.
So yeah,
Love Jesse and Luke.
I don't know those guys. I've heard so much about them, like through Morgan.
They're like the perfect blend of like you coming from like the BG world and the Austin world and slapping that together. That's a great fit for Austin, for an Austin G opening slot. I think that's
I'd love to hear that.
Made in heaven.
I love it. So yeah, we we had their agent over at the show, and he's like, dude, like, I'll give you the dates. Like, like Austin's got it. And I was like, send it over. And so we got those. Pepper Entertainment's giving us a ton of looks right now for Austin. So like,
that's great.
Finally seeing that growth. We're going back in the studio, cutting more music. Like, dude's got it. Like, it's fun. And I'm not, obviously, like, I'm biased. He's my client, like that sort of stuff. But like, if I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't have it, right? Yeah. And I believe in Austin, so it's so fun.
What's it like working behind the scenes and just the joy of getting to see like all the work that goes in behind the scenes, and then seeing like a project come out like you just had with Austin, or seeing the tour stuff with Brantley, or just the big things? How's that feel, and all the work that goes into it?
It's rewarding, and I think I don't see enough shows, I think, is my problem. Like, because I'm so focused on grinding and just making sure everything's in line
Yeah.
and that we have everything. And it's like when I'm at a show, like I don't want to say my purpose isn't there. Like it's why we're there. This is what we do. We throw parties for a living, right?
Yeah.
But now it's handed off to the tour managers and the team. So like my role kind of steps back and I get to go watch them do what they're best at.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, I don't see enough shows and that's a fault of mine for sure. But like, just cause I'm grinding in the office all the time, it's like hard to find that time.
Yeah. Now you're in that, like you were talking about the office role.
Yeah.
You used to be on the road.
Yeah.
Side, and now I think that gives you an advantage understanding the road thing while also understanding now being in the office side as long as you have. Yeah. There's not enough guys or girls that I think have done both.
Yeah,
or maybe there are, but I think it gives you an
Chief was right
yeah.
over with Nickelback
with the core. Yeah, he's done a great job. Yeah,
yeah. So he understands that fully, and he's salt of the earth dude. But yeah, like it is rewarding and it's fun to watch. I don't want to call it my team, but it's our team, and it's never a we or an I thing. It's a we thing always. Like we're 100% a team. Like watching our tour manager Corey. We had a different tour manager for a long time, and Corey just was eager and just do the TNTs, right? And like he worked himself up to be in that role, and he is the best tour manager for Brantley I've ever seen in my life. He crushed with anybody, but like for Brantley, like he's a step ahead of everybody on the road. Like he helps with lighting, directing, and pyro and cryo and the whole rock and roll show thing, and like watching everybody on the road after I'm done, just like phone calls, deals, contracts, all the just daily grind stuff that we do, to then like being able to step back and see a show and like show up at, whatever time and watch them load in and watch them hang, rigs and all that lights and all that sort of stuff and walk and chalk and, the warm-ups and the prayers to Brantley stepping on stage and like watching everybody tune guitars and all that sort of stuff all to come, on that downbeat is one of the most like, and the crowd just blowing the fucking roof off the place. That is one of the biggest rewarding things for sure.
That's awesome. How many buses are you guys up to now? Because I imagine you guys are rolling a truck with. Are you guys still running a truck?
Yeah, we got 2 or 3 trucks, semis, and then we have 5 buses.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, BG's just got this new Star Coach. It is insane. Like
I think I saw a video of him.
Yeah, dude, it's so sweet. But yeah, we got tons of buses. The other rewarding part that I don't think a lot of people talk about either is, and maybe they do, I probably just don't pay attention, is the impacts of lives.
Yeah.
Like we pedal country music for a living, essentially,
yeah.
right? We throw parties for a living, right?
Yeah.
It's gratification, instant, whatever. The other side of it is like the military that we support heavily.
Oh,
obviously.
yeah.
Dude, and like having, these survivors and, Gold Star families and all that sort of stuff that, hey, this particular song saved my life.
Yeah. What was the moment? There was a moment on the live from Red Rocks thing back in the day.
Oh, the Purple Heart guy.
Yeah,
backstage.
Yeah, he came out on stage. I remember that.
Yeah. Brantley got a Purple Heart, which is like he gave his Purple Heart, his personal Purple Heart up to Brantley, which was incredible. And he's like, dude, you've saved my life 10 times over. Like, the 22 thing a day, right? But it's like when you say you've saved my life multiple times over just by your music, like that's crazy, right? That dude could have easily, not be here with us, but because of Brantley's music, apparently that has hit his heart in some sort of fashion that he's still with us, right? But it's not only the veterans and that sort of stuff, but it's also like, when you go visit a children's hospital, St. Jude's or whatever, like, teaming up with ACM Lifting Lives and like giving back to those sorts of avenues. And like, then you hear the stories on the other side, like, hey, we donated say 50 grand or 100 grand just for conversation's sake, and then you see what that, did for somebody's life. Like that's wildly impactful and rewarding too. It's not just like, oh, we sold $100,000 of merch tonight.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Hell yeah, we did. But like, that's rewarding. Sure. But like also like touching people's lives is is wildly impactful through personal songs. And like, there's one song, 3 Feet of Water with Brantley.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Dude, I've been punching him in the head about playing that live, just him and a piano. Like, I think he would have the world in the palm of his hands.
Yeah, some of my favorite, not to get away from the music business stuff, but some of my favorite like Brantley songs are like the 3 Feet of Water, the Just As I Am, like the slow, like those like slower, like the ballad songs that complement the rock stuff so well. Like, yeah, they just
and that's what started his career in the first place, was all this like slow, gushy, like ballad stuff. And now it's it's rock stuff. But if you go back to even on the Tattoos record, there's a lot of that stuff too. Yep. But so funny.
What's it like now entering this new chapter of your life where you've got a family? Like you've got a little one now, and Brantley's got some little ones running around, and you guys had met years back and started working together years back, but now you guys are both dads doing this.
Yeah, because we were, I guess, single at the time, right? So like, it is like we went and had fun together and that sort of stuff, and then we transitioned to growing up and then having kids. Yeah, I got 2 kids now, 3 and 5, and it's been fun. Like, and like Brantley having kids, and it's like, hey dude, what are you doing? Hey, I'm at a baseball game right now, I'll call you back. Or hey, I'm putting the little ones down right now, I'll call you back. So it's like, or it's like, hey, quick text message, hey, I'm gonna be out for like the next 2 hours, we're playing football in the backyard, or like whatever it may be. It's like all of those things. And I'm terrible about putting my phone down. I'm so bad at it.
That's part of being a manager though. You need to that's part of just, you have to, it's a 24-hour cycle. It's not a 9 to 5. You might be a 9 to 5 clocking into the office, but it's a 20, because stuff can happen at any time. That's just how this stuff works.
Well, and that's another point about the business side too, that a lot of people, everybody wants to be a manager. Everyone, and they're like, oh, you got it made, or you got it good. It's like, 3 a.m. when he's calling, and he's headed to wherever, and the bus is broken down, or he's got an idea, or something happened in his life, and like, I'm his work wife. Like, we're married.
Yeah, dude.
So it's like, you want to be a manager until it's 3 a.m. and the dude's calling you, or there's an issue, there's a fire that needs to be put out. Like, before I walked in here, I'm like, hey dude, like, give me like 2 minutes. I'm just putting out a fire right now. Yeah,
that's how this thing works. It's so unpredictable.
Yeah,
you can have an idea of how a day or how a week's gonna go.
Good luck.
But it's gonna get thrown out real quick. You gotta audible, and you gotta have your pivot foot ready for anything that comes at you.
Yeah, I mean, you're essentially running a $20 million business every day, like responsible for 35 families on the road. You know, it's like what I do affects 35 other individuals, Brantley included. So like, I got to make sure that he's taken care of, so everybody else is taken care of, that we feed.
Yeah.
And but everybody wants to be a manager until it's 3 a.m. and you're getting those calls constantly. And like, Brantley, and now he and I have set certain boundaries to where it's like, hey dude, I'm headed to bed, or hey, I'm going to be up at 10 o'clock. We need to have a chat, about, the schedule and all that sort of stuff. So like, we'll try and plan ahead, obviously family and that sort of stuff comes first. And we are very good about that. Like, hey, kids first, family first, like let's do that. And then we can do business on the other side, especially if we're off. But if he's on the road and it's 3 a.m., it's on, right?
Yeah.
But it's regardless, it's rewarding in a sense. And Brantley trusts me, and everybody trusts me to, again, run this $20 million business every day, which is crazy to think, Yeah,
when you put it that way.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, how did I get here?
Yeah. And dude, it's so funny. Like, talk about that too, is like imposter syndrome. Like, I deal with it all the time. It's like, why me? Like, but then I look back, I'm like, okay, the TNTs, it takes no talent. Okay, I did all these things to get here, right? But like, there's still rooms that, sometimes I'm like, how and why am I in this room? But then I look at it, I'm like, shit, you deserve to be in this room.
Yeah.
You've deserved these things. You've afforded yourself to be here. You've done the right things. You've put the right pieces to the puzzle in place, and you're here. But sometimes it's like, some days you're like, shit, like, why me? Like, the imposter syndrome's, real, but you just try to fight it, I guess, a little bit. I don't know. But
how hard was it coming out of the chaos that was 2020? Because you'd been managing at that point?
Yeah. We were so fortunate. Brantley is he is such a giving dude, and like he looks tough and jacked and tattooed and talks a lot of shit, whatever. But he is the nicest guy you will ever meet, and he's so charismatic. He's so funny. He loves life, and that transcended into COVID, dude. Like that whole time in COVID and all that sort of stuff, like he had set aside funds for particular stuff to happen in his life. Like if we took a year off or whatever, like everybody on the road was going to be taken care of regardless.
Yeah.
And so we used our emergency fund and that sort of stuff. And obviously we got PPE loans and that sort of stuff. But he had this money set aside for certain occasions to where, if shit hit the fan or whatever happened, that those families were taken care of for at least a year.
Yeah, which is huge.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of money for somebody just to put away and set aside so they can eat and not just be hung out to dry.
Yeah.
And like it's just crazy.
But hitting the pause like on the touring machine and on like, because I forget if that was an album cycle for you guys or what was going on like this time 5 years ago.
The Just As I Am record.
Just As I Am record, I think.
Hard Days went to the radio at that time. There was a couple other songs that went to radio at that time.
And you're used to touring when you have the songs go to radio and doing all that stuff. And then it's just like, psych, you're going to be on hold for a while.
Yeah. I mean, personally, it was fun. Like,
getting to have that time. That's where my life changed a lot. That's where when I met Trey and when all the DDID stuff. And like, I always say that last 6 months was where I made all my real friends that I still have to this day.
Yeah.
By not being on the road.
No, it was like the biggest blessing in disguise.
Yeah. You spend time with family, with yourself. Like,
yeah. Financially, it was hurtful.
Yes.
I mean,
Same. Yeah. I was a gig guy. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I mean, yeah, like financially it wasn't ideal by any stretch of the imagination for anyone. It doesn't matter what industry you were in. Like everybody was suffering, the world's suffering, whatever. But yeah, like not touring and Brantley's like, dude, when's this thing gonna end? Like, can I just say fuck it and go play in somebody's backyard that wants us?
Just go throw a party in Georgia?
Just a bonfire and we'll all just be 6 feet apart. And we talked about doing like the drive-in movie theater thing where everybody hooks up and like that sort of stuff. And mentally he was in a tough spot, right? I mean, I think a lot of us were, because we're just trying to scrounge, trying to figure out what content we can put out to, keep Brantley front of mind.
Yeah.
When the entire world's shut down, now everybody's going outside. We watched hunting spike, we watched fishing spike, golf is at an all-time high. Yeah. So everybody's getting outside, but nobody's getting outside to go to a show because they can't. And so that was really difficult, I think mentally on Brantley, but like personally, like, yeah, it sucked again financially, but like, dude, I just had my kid. Like I just had my first, Brody, our 5-year-old, and dude, we just rode the Polaris every day, went fishing every day, like worked out, like we were cooking on the Traeger every day. Like we just had a time. And so for it was like 3 or 4 months, we just hung out.
Yeah.
Like it was the best. But yeah, as far as touring, I mean, we're getting crushed, but Brantley was paying all those guys in full. There was like 4 guys that were on day rate, show pay. And so we're like, hey, like we'll average out, what you made last year, for the year on what your show pay was. We'll take that average and that'll be your salary. So that's what we did for a lot of these guys, because if they were on show pay, dude, they're not making any money.
Yeah.
At all.
That's where I was slinging merch for Gary and Charlie at the time.
If you're on the road, you're making money, but as soon as you step off, you're not. And so, we made sure that those guys that weren't on salary were getting compensated during that time. So Brantley stepped up and was like, no, I love everybody, your family. Nobody's leaving. Nobody's going anywhere. I'm paying you. And so that's how it happened.
Yeah.
And he was just a legend for it,
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, we came out alive, and now that touring's back and is in full force, we're kicking ass, taking names again.
What's it like being an independent manager versus, I mean, maybe independent's the wrong term, but now to be part of like a collective unit that is Red Light, and your time with Morris before that, and what's the dynamic like of you have your clients, but you're part of this bigger umbrella?
Dude, the red light model to me, 5-6 years ago when we had kind of left, or shoot, longer than that. Whenever we left, 7 years ago, I guess, is when we left Hard Eight, and we were kind of like shopping managers. It was Corin, it was Narvel, it was Clint. We ultimately ended on Clint, but I think I didn't put as much thought or concentration on red light as a whole. Like, what they have is, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a partner, at red light, but what they have is unreal. The resources there are unreal. The shared services there are unreal. You just have to be a squeaky wheel.
What are shared services? Like,
So,
for
like,
someone that doesn't know.
Yeah. So like digital stuff, digital marketing stuff, or, asset management, that sort of stuff, to where, like, hey, I need an ad mat done or something like that. Well, we have shared services, so we have artists that can go ahead and create an ad mat or a tour ad mat or album artwork or single artwork or whatever. So like, it's not, we're not having to outsource it somewhere else. There's services inside a red light to where I can just send off an email. Well, okay, perfect. In a day, I'll have this back to you. I'll give you some options. Here's some options.
Yeah.
And our marketing team, like, we could go use the label, but we like to keep everything in house. We do use the label for certain stuff, and we do market with the label for sure. But there's a lot of, like, our tour marketing and marketing and digital marketing and campaigns and all that sort of stuff. Like, when we shut down Broadway for Brantley's album release, like, dude, like, talk about shared services. Like, everybody from ad mat to digital to you name it, everybody jumped in and was like, how can we help? How can we make the biggest, baddest show happen? And I wanted to, like, helicopter a Polaris onto Broadway, like, all this sort of stuff. And we tried to figure it out. And like, it kind of got shut down, just logistically and insurance wise.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But, like, everybody at red light, just, they jump in, and like Tom over there, and, Ben Klein's over there now. And, like, they're like, hey, anything you need, just please holler. So you got to be a squeaky wheel to get your way. But, like, that's with anything, right? It's like, it takes no talent to go up and ask somebody for help, or ask questions to help move the needle. Or, hey, we saw this work for Parker McCollum. Do you think that would work for Brantley in this way? It's like, yeah, sure. Let's figure that out. Let's dive into it. And so everybody's willing to dive into it. It is a collaborative effort over there. It is very much, it's almost like a family, what Brantley has on the road, you know, and everybody wants to win out on the road. Everybody wants to win in the office, because if we're not winning, then we're not getting paid. So, but yeah, the shared services things is, and the resources and I don't say resources as just in what's there, but the Rolodex that is available to us.
The network is
dude,
huge.
It's insane. And I think I took that for granted at, some other places that we've been at. And those resources in the Rolodex and the network is incredible. And it takes one email inside of red light, to the other managers. Hey, I'm looking for, say we're in Europe or Australia or South Africa. Hey, I need a rock doc right now. Like, the dude's sick. Like, hey, we got you. Here's who we've used in the past. We still have their contact. They'll send it down. So, like, even that is like a blessing. Like, or, hey, Brantley needs a massage or an IV, like, at this moment. They're like, yep, here. Like, you just send this email, dude. 20 people reply to it, and like with suggestions or help. So, like,
jeez, that's wild.
Yeah, and it's fun because it doesn't matter at red light whose team you're on. You could be on Laney's team, you could be on Parker's team, or whomever's team inside a red light, but all the managers, like, help each other to move forward or collab on a project or whatever. So, like,
that's sick.
In that sense at red light, it's been incredible for us. And Corin is just a super champion. Dude hates losing, like, as we all do, and, like, we'll help you win at all costs. And it's been a trip for sure.
That's awesome. Now, now we'll side over to, like, the breaking and act stuff. So, like, obviously, like, getting a manager and getting your champion as an artist is huge, but you have, like, the different avenues of, like, publishing, booking, label, all that. what do you think is like the best route to kind of go? Like,
yeah.
yeah, I guess it's a case by case basis too. Like certain people have the writing bug where it's like we need to get them this publishing deal to get these songs.
Yeah.
And get that. But then other people are like live show people where it's like, we need somebody to get this guy or girl on the road.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
how do you navigate that stuff?
You're right in the sense that it is a case by case basis, right? You know, you take Hardy for instance, like Hardy was a songwriter.
He was part of the FGL tree.
Yeah, he was that,
Yeah.
right? He is that. Well, then Hardy was like, "Oh, dude, like I put out my own stuff and like the publishing angle to his world transitioned into be the fucking rock star that he is now, right?"
Yeah.
So it's like, and I don't play any part in that, but like I look up to what he did and how Tracker and Seth and everybody had managed that process
Yeah.
to get Hardy to where he is, and you know all the big loud guys, like hats off to them. But you know, like it's case by case, like you know, and now that TikTok's involved,
Oh, dude, it changes everything.
dude, it's
man.
the worst.
Pain in the ass.
It is the biggest blessing and pain in the ass ever because there is so many great acts out there that have unfortunately broke because of TikTok, but it's also been such a downfall because all these labels are signing like 100 TikTok artists,
Yeah.
you know, a day or whatever it is, and it's like
Guys and girls that haven't played a show or done a co-write or done they don't have their reps or
dude,
their
they couldn't
chops.
sell out a phone booth.
Yeah,
but yeah,
dude.
they're
It's crazy.
getting a label deal.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like there's just so many different avenues to like help try and break an artist, and right now it's just like you have to use every fucking tool that you have.
Yeah.
You know, not just monetarily, but like leveraging you know, friendships to a certain degree on like, hey, we'll put out, you know, so and so with Brantley, but hey, backdoor, can we do this deal with Austin too? Or
Yeah.
you know, how can we make it work all together? And you know, Lindsay Will at
Oh, we love
dude,
Lindsay,
Lindsay's
man.
the shit.
The Roundhill fam.
Oh, dude, they're the best.
They got a cool thing going because it's like publishers are starting to turn into artist dev.
dude,
Like publishers are developing artists. Right
Yeah.
now, and Roundhill's doing a great job of that.
they're crushing at it, and they have this like little cult fun thing now. It's
Yeah.
like it's fun to be there.
Yeah.
They're fun to interact with. Like everybody wants to be around Hill now because of it, right?
Yeah.
It's cool. So like you utilizing them, you know, once we got those Lakeview dates, you know, Austin's like, oh hey, like Mike over at Roundhill and Lindsay, they said they got sprinters available for, you know, this rate and that rate, so we can go ahead and get it. So the publishers are now coming on board and like helping break these acts, you know, which is beneficial to them.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're almost becoming a label services.
Yeah.
And the label's going away, which is great because now we own more of you know, the artist
Yeah.
or the client. You know, they're taking home more revenue. We're taking home more revenue
Yeah.
once they do break. So it's fun. But yeah, it's a case by case basis on, I think, you know, how those acts break. But dude, it is so tough because all these agents and labels and, you know, they're like, oh, we want to see your numbers. We want to see your Spotify numbers. We want to see your, you know, your TikTok numbers and all that sort of stuff. It's like, how about you listen to the music? We're in the music business, by the way.
Listen to the music and see. I like to give a listen to the music and then see the live show and then see how tickets and see the reaction in the crowd in the opening slots. Like, is the crowd resonating with this guy or girl that's kicking off the show?
Yeah, and where's the like minus the data? Where's the gut feeling of like, this kid can fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like this is it, right? Like,
Yeah.
where's the fun in like taking a chance? So many people now are you know, labels and even publishers, you know, or agents, you know, they're so scared to take a chance. They're like, oh, that's going to be a grind. Like, yeah, of course it's going to be a grind. Like, that's what we signed up for.
The grind is what works.
Yes.
In my opinion. That's,
Yeah.
again, you go back to Brantley. He was a guy that was out there grinding.
Yeah.
And anybody that you see that's like at the top right now, Wallen went out and did his reps. I saw Wallen play for 200 people at Jenks Club in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, like 7 years ago. You know, I saw Luke Combs play at the Mercury Lounge in New York City in front of like 100 people. Like, you have to do that step to really get to the top and have that longevity.
Yeah. But just, it's like now it's just finding those people that you know, if you have low numbers or they're it's not of interest, you know, like we just did the showcase for Austin, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we got to get people out to see Austin live, because if you see it live, you're a fan.
Yeah.
Like instantly fan. His stage presence is all time.
Oh yeah.
His crowd interactions.
The band killed it too.
Dude,
that
the
went,
band,
that
dude.
went great.
It's so good. Mikey, the guitar player, love you,
Oh,
dude.
Mikey
Like,
Anger, man, he's one of my Broadway bros. And I used to
he
bounce
is
on
the
Broadway.
best, dude.
Love that.
I love-
Miguel Potato, baby. He's
Yeah,
the man.
Miguel Potato.
Yeah.
Yes. And like Aaron bass, he's played for everybody. He's played for 641 back in the day. You know, known him a long time. Great dude, super talented. Got a head on his shoulders, like just winning at life. Drummer, I don't really know him that well, but also just a rock star
Did great.
dude.
Yeah.
They're all just so talented, and like they vibe so well on stage. And like if you see it again, like you're an instant fan. Like Austin's stage presence, Austin's interaction with the crowd. That one girl that like listened to that song, like all just that teaser clip that, you know, Austin put up.
Yeah.
He played it that night, and that girl front row knew the words, and Austin recognized that she knew the words, so he handed her the mic and like let her sing those parts. Like he is so good at reading a crowd and being interactive with the crowd to get them, you know, in the palm of his hands to do what he does best. And like it's being on stage, and that's where he wins. But yeah, like, you know, it's again like the numbers thing. Everybody's just so horned up about numbers, and it's like, dude, take a quick chance. Like it'll pay off, I promise. But so many people are just too scared now.
Yeah, dude. It's like I'm a big baseball fan, and it's like people used to watch the player and scout the player versus looking solely at the number. It's like so much of it, and the data counts for something, but it's like if you see it and you hear it and it fucks, like then it fucks.
Yeah.
You know, like your eyes and your ears aren't gonna lie to you. You know,
for
bottom
sure.
line.
Yeah, and he's an incredible songwriter.
Yeah,
I mean, he really he's got, you know, Austin Snell's song, you know, Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
That fucking slams on the road with Brantley.
Oh, that live, man. Yeah.
Dude, Brantley put it in his set. So he's playing an Austin Snell song in his set, Muddy Water Rockstar, because we did a remix version with them with Brantley on it.
Goes hard, man.
Or no, it's not Heavy Metal. We're doing Muddy Water Rockstar, but yeah, that song hits. But you know, Austin's song,
Heavy
Metal, dude, that thing live fucking I saw it for the first time in Everett, Washington.
Yeah.
You know, and we're about to go down to Huntsville, Alabama to go see the show next weekend.
Oh, dude, yeah, Huntsville's wild. Dude, you're gonna have fun down there. I love that
come,
market.
Come,
dude. I just might.
I will put you down.
That'd be awesome.
So yeah, dude, it's just so fun to see, and nobody I think deserves it more right now than Austin because of the grind, the path he's taken, stepping away from 641 to do a solo project.
I feel like 641 was a little ahead of their time too. Right now, the crossover stuff of like that pop punk resurgence to where you could call it country, but you could also call it rock, and just 90s, 2000s culture is back more than it's ever been.
Yeah.
You see kids walking around in Django jeans with freaking chain wallets. Like, we're in 2004 again, dude. So it's like, if there's a time that's sonically like blending style is going to work, right now to me is the time for it.
Yeah.
Like, kids in college and high school are bumping sonically what is an Austin G song.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
Yeah, for
so
sure.
that's the thing. Like 641, like Plain Crazy comes out now 5 years later.
Smash.
It does it, which again, I still love that song to this day. I loved it in 2019, 2020, but it's like now it's like everything happens for a reason. Everybody kind of has their time. And to me, it just seems like the time for a guy like Austin G to just get out there.
Yeah. No, and again, like we're seeing it in real time with all these offers that we're getting in, you know, and
it's exciting.
The guarantees that we're getting right now are like, I don't want to say he doesn't deserve the guarantees, but like they're very high for what he's, you know, what he's doing right now. So like, I mean, he's going to make a lot of money this year. And like, you know, he's got a bunch of California dates. I got some friends that are buyers out in California. Like, hey, get us out here.
And to get in new markets.
Yeah.
With that's such a huge thing too, is to get into those new markets, you know, like people know who he is in Kentucky, and like I'm sure certain college towns across the Midwest and the Southeast, but you take that thing to like New York or Portland, Maine, or Eugene, Oregon, or Boise, Idaho, or whatever, like that it's got to be fun for you to have the train rolling with Brantley, and then to be getting the rocket ship going with Austin.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be cool to be breaking an artist and having a guy that's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, and I think we struggled a little bit with Austin and stuff at the beginning, but now it's like it is the rocket ship is loading, the passengers are getting on,
Yeah.
we're about to launch the moon, and like that is the best feeling ever because I don't think anybody deserves it more right now than Austin. Like with that cut that he got with Austin, Snell, and they're talking about taking it to the highway XM and maybe hopefully rock radio. That would be huge for Austin. And it's like that's solidified him as a songwriter. If all these things happen, I mean, it solidifies him as a songwriter regardless.
Yeah.
Like it's a major label cut for Austin. Like, fuck yeah, like bro, you got it. Now it's like taking that next step to get him another right and do all those things right. And thank God for Roundhill for like just pressing the envelope to have fun but like take some caution, or not caution, but just go and do those things just to have some fun and take chances for sure has been awesome. But I'm stoked for Austin right now.
Yeah,
It's
man.
gonna be so fun.
What piece of advice would you offer? You get, like you said, everybody wants to get into management, and your path is very unique and very like you got an opportunity to go prove yourself, and you proved yourself, and that's where you've gotten to where you're at right now. But what would you tell that hungry guy or girl that's just wanting to do something in the industry? What's the big word of wisdom?
Don't expect anything. Like I think there's too many kids now that are like, oh well, I'm not gonna do that if I can't work from home, or I have to show up to the office at this time, or I have to do these certain things. That's not me. Okay, well then you should be satisfied with where you're at, then walking your dog and doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But like, don't expect anything. Just because you are making steps to better yourself, take those things to better yourself. Then don't expect somebody else to be like, oh, I see they're winning, I see they're doing those things. Like, don't expect something in return, I guess is kind of where I'm going with that. But like, just do the work. It will get noticed, whether it's now or whether it's 5 years down the road. Like, again, I've been with Brantley 9 years. I wasn't noticed right away, but like I made sure I was noticed by doing, these certain tasks, again, to get where I'm at. And I didn't expect anything in return at the time. I still don't to this day, but like now I do get, a return from it and a feel good and all the things. But yeah, I guess don't expect anything. Too many kids want to expect, I'm going to work from home. I'm going to make my own schedule. I'm going to do all these things. Well, then you're not cut out to do this.
Yeah.
Like you're just not.
I'm going to have hours where I'm not working. No, you have to be ready to handle anything in any situation.
Yeah. And I'm blessed now where it's like, some days, we're up early and we're finished early, or, I can trickle in emails, past 3 o'clock, and I'll just, I'll get to it, we'll handle it. But there's some days where it's bell to bell, it doesn't shut off. We're up at 6 and we're crushing emails and phone calls and all the shit in between, and things are on fire and Brantley's still up and we're talking till 3 a.m. Like there are those days too. But you just take it as it comes. Again, it's a 24/7 thing. It's not a 9 to 5. That's not what you're paid for, and again, we're running a multi-million-dollar business every day. Like, and you have to be ready for multi-million-dollar type shit to happen every day.
Absolutely.
And adjust accordingly. But yeah, I think having no expectations is the best expectation, I guess.
Hell yeah.
So
dude, thank you so much for coming on here.
Thanks
man.
for having me.
You dropped some damn words of wisdom on this show today, man. Appreciate you, and might take you up on Huntsville, if not Huntsville, another time soon, because it would be awesome to get down there.
Dude, Athens,
get to a
Huntsville.
Show. Oh, Athens. A Brantley show in Athens would be nuts. That's bucket list hometown shit, right? And Austin Snell. That's nuts.
It's the day before. Athens is next Friday. Huntsville is next Saturday.
Oh shit.
So I'm driving to Athens that morning. Go hit that show, and then Austin and everybody from Roundhill, I believe, is going to Lindsay too, is going to Huntsville.
Oh,
so
sick.
I'll drive over to Huntsville, do that, and then drive home.
Sick.
So if you're in,
I just might be. I'll have to look at the calendar, check with my girlfriend, the boss, and see.
yeah, I get it.
I'm dating a woman. My girlfriend Aaron has a little 6-year-old girl, which has been awesome. But
dude,
it's like
good for
again,
you,
my
bro.
life's changed too from being out. I'm still out in the bars all the time hosting the events.
You have to though. That's work.
But life changes,
Yeah.
and it's
Dude,
all
good
a
for
blessing
you.
and all good stuff. Yeah, I outkicked my coverage. I did good. So.
Yeah. I get it.
Wild stuff, man. But brother, thank you so much for coming on here and hanging out. Feel better with the arm. I'm sure. How much longer you got on the recovery for that?
4 weeks, 4.5 weeks.
Okay, that's not too bad. You'll be able to get to the. Will you be able to participate in turkey season?
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. We'll get on some birds. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Well, big shout out to our man Aaron Keiser, Red Light Management, Brantley Gilbert, Austin G. If you guys want to look them up, I believe the email is on the Red Light website. I believe. Yeah. If you need Aaron for anything, but above all, great great knowledge and another great episode of Behind the Music Biz. For more on us, visit raisereye.com. Shout out to our friends from Surfside. I'm going to send you home with either some green tea or some of the peach tea, and then we got a bunch of hats there. Pick out something for you and the wifey.
You're the man. Thank
to
you,
have.
bro.
So appreciate you, dog. For my man Aaron, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Behind the Music Biz.